Video was definitely a long time coming. And just to briefly explain what I'm doing here, I have been asked frequently why I like Persona 5. And honestly, I give a lot of runaround answers. So I decided to make a video to briefly explain it, as briefly as I can. Let's start off with something simple. Let's watch the intro, because it's part of the reason why. Persona 5 gave me a renaissance in terms of my artistic ability, in terms of how I view life. It changed me. Quite literally, changed my heart. It stole my heart, actually. The animation that you just saw is probably one of the biggest reasons why I like the game, honestly. It has so much style, it has so much personality, and the game hasn't even started yet. Going into the menu here, the music. I have never cared about a game's soundtrack as much as I do Persona 5's. Legitimately speaking, I can't even begin to explain how good the soundtrack is. It's all over the internet. I highly recommend Last Surprise, Rivers in the Desert, Tokyo Daylight, and even the intro that you just heard, which is called Colors Flying High. Just to start off a little bit, I'm just going to load a save file. Let's go with something casual to just walk around so I could talk a little bit about this amazing game. So, the first thing I'd like to mention is that video games for me are have always been about the gameplay. And anybody who knows me definitely knows that. Gameplay matters most, but story is good. The reason I like Legend of Zelda is the gameplay, Metal Gear Solid is for the gameplay, although Metal Gear Solid does have the story element to it, and it's definitely a good one. But I never thought in a million years that I would be playing a game that's as story heavy as Metal Gear or Persona 5. And the thing is about those two games is that they're carried by not only the narrative, but by the way that the game plays. I don't like RPGs. That much most of you probably know. I don't like turn-based systems. Pokemon is an exception because it's Pokemon. But even then, we can all agree that the combat system in the main game could get a little monotonous. And the thing about Persona 5 is, I don't have a visual example here, but I just like to say that it gives you opportunities to make the battles faster. There's stealth involved. You could, of course, start the battle and trump the enemy from the start, and you have the advantage to get to attack first. Once you understand certain enemy classes, you could exploit their weaknesses, and you can knock them down, not even give them a chance to attack. And while doing that, you actually open up an entire spectrum of animation, style, and personality that you could, of course, very easily see in even Joker's Smash Brothers, his final smash, and any of the trailers. I'm sure many of you, especially the ones watching this, might have seen it. In this save file, unfortunately, I do not have the ability to get to that specific animation, but you could end battles quickly, and they just become this constant stream of just ease. And that's to say that it's an easy game per se. It has its challenges. You get to enemies you haven't encountered before. You need to be ready for them. Different people in your party are good for different things. You need to develop your own abilities as well in order to trump them. There are some walls in the game that I've hit in my first playthrough that were challenging. But the thing about the reason I mention RPGs is because, like I said, they're very monotonous, right? The menus are complicated. I get lost. I think one of the first true and traditional JRPGs that I played is Final Fantasy X. Now, I may be getting a lot of hate for this, but I really did not enjoy playing that game. I couldn't finish it. I actually played it for about 5 hours, and I could not get through that game. I also played Xenoblade Chronicles. I got really excited when Shulk was added to Smash Brothers, and I wanted to try the game, much like the reason I even played Persona 5 is because Joker was added to the game. But when I played Xenoblade, I played it for a total of maybe 2 hours, and I just could not get over the absolute horrible UI. And the combat system was just so chaotic and so complex, I didn't know what I was doing half the time. I just got bored. I have a very short attention span, and I need to see things in an easy kind of way. I don't have a combat menu to look into right now, but I do have the pause menu for this amazing game. Now, I actually tout the pause menu in Persona 5 to be one of the best that I've ever encountered. Like I said, it's very, very easy to look at, and I'm going to show you right now. Main game, you go to the main menu. Goes back to what I was saying about the style, personality, and the animation. This is really easy to look at, for me. You have all your basic tropes here. We go down to my favorite menu, which is equipped. This is where the weapons are. He's holding the gun. Everything is just fluid. Everything looks great. If you could recognize this, the way that it's drawn and everything, it's actually the art that I've done on my page. This is what's become popular for the Persona 5 style. This is what I think about when I think about Persona. And, well, the animation itself is just great. It's easy to navigate. Like, just going back to the whole RPG thing, it's just this game that's just free-flowing. It all makes sense. There's no monotonous tasks in this game. The side quests play into the story very seamlessly, and it makes you actually want to explore them, in my opinion, of course. But just to touch upon something a little outside of the gameplay and a little bit of background, just to finish that off, I don't like RPGs. I don't even like anime, really. This game is definitely very anime. I don't like JRPGs, I don't like anime, I don't like turn-based combat. But somehow this game nails it, and I'll definitely go into more explanation with it. So, the themes of the game are a little complex to explain, so I'll try to go over it as simple as I possibly can. Essentially, the game revolves around a simple idea that there is a cognitive reality. there is a cognitive reality in this universe, and it's up to these teenagers make a deal with their inner rebellious spirit, or let's just say this teenager who's Joker. He makes a deal with his inner rebellious spirit in order to navigate through this cognitive world and go into the minds of corrupted adults in power in order to take them down from their own cognition. I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but a prime example, you get it really early on. They go to a school, the one that I was just in, and there is a teacher who takes advantage of students. He sexually assaults some of them. He abuses some of them because he's a PE teacher as well. So he physically abuses his students, and he's just a conniving jerk. Now, he is a former Olympic gold medalist, and he's bringing a lot of attention, honor, and goodwill to the school. The principal is in cahoots with him. He's he's bringing such popularity to the school, so they're turning a blind eye, I guess you could say. There's nothing that these kids could do. Nobody believes them. They're turning their faces. Everybody just kind of feels intimidated by this guy. So he sees himself, the PE teacher sees himself as the king of the castle. When these teenagers go into the cognitive world, they're not fighting the physical manifestation of the guy. They're not fighting the physical guy. They're battling his demons in his castle, his warped reality and his own cognition, and they battle him in a way that is in the cognitive world, and they eventually get him. Well, no spoilers here, but that's how they duke it out. It's all about exploring different corrupted minds. This guy in particular, he's a pervert. He's the palace, or the cognitive dungeon that he's in, which are called palaces in the game, is themed after lust. So these teenagers go in there and they fight that cognitive being. Now, the important thing to know along with that is, of course, you're asking, how does this connect to, or how does the outside world that I'm in right now connect to this cognitive world? Well, the relationships that you form with the friends that you have around the city actually kind of carry into abilities that you can perform in that reality. And essentially, earlier when I said that what is it that I was saying? I'm saying so many things right now. That the gameplay is streamlined, that things aren't as monotonous. The side quests tie into the story. So all of these teenagers are going through these events. They're trying to better the world. They get these powers. They're trying to fix these corrupted adults. They're trying to battle, the cognitive masses. Everybody has a different opinion on life. Things are happening in the real world, and they're trying to fix them through the cognitive world. So the side quests are interacting with your friends, with your allies, with people around the city that could help you. For example, there's a doctor that she's not doing too well. People don't trust her in the medical world, so you kind of like talk to her in a way that she kind of gives you like some vitamins and some drugs to help you study, I guess you could say. And they actually help you in the game. Of course, they're like items, they're like HP restoring things and everything. But the point is that you get to have relationships with these people, and when you level up your relationships with them, they actually become stronger in that cognitive world. Now, for example, we can go back to the menu here. You go here, and let's use Anna as an example, right? So I have her maxed out. She's level 10. We have the strongest relationship possible in the game. Now, to attain this, you need to spend time with her. You need to understand her problems, And when she asks you things, like you're having a conversation, it'll prompt you to say to, you know, 3 options, for example. The faster you do it, the faster, or the good responses get you to the rank 10 faster. And rank 10 unlocks these things. These are techniques, and these techniques you could use in combat or in the metaverse, in the cognitive world. And the thing is that you have many allies around the city. These are all the people that you meet. And the side quests, you keep track of them with these blue cards. As you can see on the map right here, this is the confidant that I was talking about. So you can talk to her, even if it's maxed out.
Oh yeah.
And she's asking if you want to hang out. It's like,
Yeah.
Let's have some tea.
Thanks.
So, in the real world, you have a visual novel gameplay type thing. You talk to people. This is a, you know, since it's all maxed out, there's nothing else that could happen with the relationship except for hanging out as best friends. You already have a strong bond with Anne. And then you could buy gifts. So she likes girly things, right? So what's girly? Let's see. Maybe the Sakura fan. Let's give her a gift.
Thanks.
She really liked it. I got 3 points, but I'm maxed out, so it doesn't matter. So essentially, the relationships that you build. Long story short, the relationships that you build with your friends, and of course, like I said, the themes of this game are very powerful. They deal with a lot of, you know, not to say, I don't want to just categorize it into one thing, but let's just say social problems, mental illness, different sins. A lot of the bad guys deal with different types of sins. Like I said, one of them is lust. All of these characters are dealing with the story at the same time, and all of them are going through something different, so you help them all out, and you learn different things about them, and as you do that, it progresses the story, their individual story, and you level them up as well. Now, the great thing is that this is all tied together so seamlessly. You're playing through the game, and you wanna get to know your friends, not only because their story is interesting, but because it actually helps you gameplay-wise. And like I said, it becomes less monotonous. Instead of just doing grind quests and just grinding and killing things, reducing their health to 0, there's ways with these power-ups, with these relationships that you're forming. Essentially, you could go hang out and watch a movie with someone. You could pick their favorite movie. You say the correct things after that movie. You get closer to them. Your bond with them gets stronger, and then you're able to kill things faster, and it becomes more seamless. So it's very rewarding. And it's really rewarding to have special relationships with people and see how they're reacting to the story around you. Besides that, I mean, honestly, I don't know if you could hear the music that's going on right now, but everything is tied together with the soundtrack and the visual animation in such a seamless way too. I know I'm saying like seamless way, like repeatedly. I did want to make this video short. I think I summed up basically everything that's going on with the game, and I mean, it's a brief summary. It's not like there's so much more to this game. It's a 100-hour experience. There's no way that I could explain it in a short amount of time. I hope I was able to some kind of an extent. Also, that face is really creepy. Look at it for a while. It gives me chills every time. This is an optional. Ooh. This is kind of like, and you know, when you're playing these adventure games and everything just gets put into like one thing, so you can just like view different things. So I'm gonna go to the music thing right now, so we can just play some music. So I'm pretty sure we've heard this one.
Don't you know, no more art.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop dancing. You guys couldn't see it, but I was dancing. The last thing I want to talk about, because I do want to end it on a very positive note here. I mean, this whole thing has been positive, really, but last surprise. I'm just going to play a very faint, or I can't control the volume, but I'm going to be playing it in the background here. Last surprise is the exact, like the lyrics, the tone, the style, the beat, the bass line, the drum track, the violins, everything is wholeheartedly my fight song. I don't seek fights, but I know how to win them. And I always have believed that. And Last Surprise is such a great song that just embodies the philosophy that these teenagers have. Because people mess with them, people are ruining their lives. There's people out there that are ruining our lives. They mess with people. And people underestimate them because they're teenagers. And essentially the song is called Last Surprise because it's gonna be the messing with me is gonna be the last surprise that you're gonna have. Because I'm gonna beat you down and you're gonna lose. And just the way that the song just poses itself is just, oh my god. It's such... I have never dreamt about music ever in my entire life. And when I played Persona 5 for the first time, about 2 years ago now, I went to bed one night and I had a dream that I was listening to Last Surprise. And when I woke up with a smile on my face, and I have not stopped listening to that song. Okay, well, I've stopped listening to it, but I've listened to Last Surprise at least once a week since the first time I've heard it. And when I first heard it, when I was first playing through the game, when I would drive home from work every night, I would listen to it on loop. Which is kind of sad, but I don't care, because it's probably the best song I've ever heard in my entire life. Like I said, I feel like it's a personal theme, just because of the nature of it. Like I said, you underestimate me, that was your last mistake, this is your last surprise. You're going down. You made the mistake to start the fight, I'm gonna end it. And the thing is that it's classy, and it's not pushy. It's like kind of like a very it's very hip, it's stylish, and it kind of just puts it down in one simple phrase. It's your last surprise. And with that, I think it's a good place to close the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And to finish off the video, I'll just put this because it's... where is it? Thank you guys for watching. I hope some of you watched. I hope that what I said just made sense. Thank you!